Okay, let's just get started, shall we? I'm gonna turn the music down. Return. Resume. Return. Okay. Week 9. Let's see. Let's just do classes. Okay, I'm gonna mute that. And then I have to mute. Okay. Okay. Okay, got it. Nailed it. Leadership, charisma. Yeah, all that looks good. Because I forgot what I was doing. Good. Gonna focus on that still. Those two. Okay, yeah. Start. Some macaroonies. Gonna be reading a lot. I gotta drink some water. I'm walking along the hallway on my way back to my bedroom when I hear something clatter loudly inside the hall to my right. I start a little at the unexpected noise, my heart pounding uneasily. First the assassins, then the conspiring nobles, next the exploding potion, and today this. Whatever this may be. Under ordinary circumstances, I would have ignored the noise and went on my way, but the events of the past few weeks have put me on edge. Determined to investigate what is going on, I tiptoe towards the door. My fingers close around the knob, and I turn it quietly. Who's there? Oh, she shouts it. Who's there? I shout as I push open the door, bracing myself for the ambush I am sure is coming. I say, who's that? Oh, Lady Rosencruz. Oh, I still can't pronounce it. Thank goodness it's just you. Prince Nazir gives me a mock salute, the shocked expression on his face having quietly transformed into a grin of relief. Next to him, a pretty maid, her face completely crimson, is trying to smooth her crumpled dress. Come to think of it, Prince Nazir's normally impeccable attire is also a little in disarray. Around their feet lay a dozen pieces of silver cutlery and the remains of what used to be the porcelain rack that once held them. Prince Nazir is holding a silver spoon, which he swiftly tucks behind his... tucks behind his back with a boyish grin. Your Highness, may I ask what you and her were up to? Are doing? We, can't exactly... What were we two doing again? The maid shuffles her feet, looking everywhere in the room except Prince Nazir and I, and does not speak. I thought I saw... You saw... Dash it. Could have told me sooner. I thought I saw you two polishing some silverware. You did? You did? Yes, polishing silverware was exactly what we were doing. Isn't that right? The maid inclines her head ever so slightly and makes a soft whimper that could perhaps be interpreted as a yes. sure helping her was the only thing you were doing? Nah, that is right. Lily, the very idea. What else could I have been doing? Nazir directs at me his most charming smile, and despite everything, I cannot help but smile back in return. So relieved it's you, my dear, rather than anyone else. You're a decent sport. Have I ever told you that? Prince Nazir laughs and winks at me, and like a fool, I can feel my smile widening. Now I suppose I had better scamper away before someone less understanding pops up, right? Yes, Your Highness, you had better. There you are, Your Highness. Harris storms into the room, his brows furrowed together into an impressively bristling V. Oh dear, Harris, old man, what an unexpected pleasure. How is my prodigal brother, the black sheep of the family? I always butcher this name. Orleus? Hopefully that's it. He's perfectly well, Your Highness, and what's more, busy doing his duties. Duties? Never heard of them. Tastes good with milk? Your Highness, please. Harris narrows his eyes while actually glaring at the prince. It's the very first time I've seen a man wearing a clear emotion except for amusement. Raphael has been looking all over the palace for you. It's about a matter of considerable urgency, and here you are doing heaven knows what with the domestic help. I was polishing the silverware, wasn't I, Lily? To the best of my knowledge. Polishing the silverware? A prince polishing the silverware. Pray tell me, Your Highness, for what reason do we hire maidservants if not to polish the silverware? If you absolutely force me to take a stab at it, sweeping the floor, perhaps? Sweeping the floor, very good, Your Highness, very amusing. You see me bent over in mirth, unable to catch my breath. I've always fancied a splendid sense of humor as one of my utmost attractive traits. Nazir reflects Harris's glare with his usual deceptively gormless grin. Leadership success. Be reasonable, Harris. There are much more things Nazir might have been doing instead of polishing silverware. Much worse, isn't that right? The maid blushes at the insinuation. Somehow I can't help but speculate if polishing silverware might not be a new term Prince Nazir invented to describe an altogether different activity. I could easily be entertaining similar speculations myself, but I did not really see him polishing the silverware or spoon in his hand, so I simply smiled in amusement with the thought. I can vouch that His Highness is telling the truth, Harris. Anyway, what's the point of lecturing Prince Nazir when he could be making up for lost time helping Raphael with whatever he needs? There we go. Sorry. Tomorrow you'll find him cleaning the stables with the handsome stable boy. No, this time I will drum into him his obligations and duties as a royal prince. No, you won't. What? Better men than you have tried, is what my friend meant. Prince Nazir never pays attention to lectures or lessons. Trust me, I have far too much first-hand knowledge of this. It all just goes into one ear and out the other. The best way to go about it is to speed him on his way once he's caught, I found. ... I suppose you're right, Lady Rosencrantz. Harris heaves a grudging sigh and turns toward Prince Nazir. caught you, Your Highness. Time to speed you on your way. Up and at them. Tally ho. Vizier obediently follows Harris out of the room, but not before shooting me a grateful look behind his back while walking past me. As the two men leave, the maid, forgotten until now, takes a chance to scurry after them. Shaking my head in bemusement in this incident, I carry on walking back to my bedroom, wondering just what caused the tray of silverware to clatter onto the floor in the first place. Da-da-da. Okay. Should we do a mission? Probably not yet. Probably just go to classes. Okay. So we need... Okay, let's do light. For Surin, which we haven't seen in this episode yet. Or in week 9. Nazir, we need... let's do fire. Oh. And maybe one wind. And Orleus needs water? Water. Wait. Oh, fire. I almost made a mistake. Okay. And I could probably use more knowledge and knowledge and sword fighting or combat. Sorry, combat. That looks good. Just good. That water is good, and that wind, and that light. I don't know the lowest you can get on these. I figured just +1 would probably be the lowest. And I think the highest I've ever seen is 6. Knock knock. Just let me drink some gamer stops. It's Pom Pom Punch, which is pomegranate, and then Goof Juice, which is strawberry kiwi. Okay. I look up from the dim lamp lit notes on my desk, where I had been scribbling lecture notes for tomorrow's lessons. Who could it be at this hour? Knock knock. Whoever it is, he isn't going away. I heave a weary sigh and push myself upright. Knock knock. One moment. I call as I walk towards the door. Knock knock. What an impatient person. I pull the door open, eyeing the young guard standing before me, balefully. Good evening, Lady Rosencrantz. Good evening, what can I do for you? I am a guardsman in the retinue of Prince Orleus. He wants me to convey you his urgent desire to meet you immediately. Intelligence exam. Yes. A guardsman. I observe a man carefully, but I can't remember ever seeing him before. Of course, I don't know Evergard by face nor name. My gaze falls upon his belt. The man doesn't carry a sword. Lady Rosencrantz? Did you hear what I said? This one, whoever he may be, does not feel any need to defend himself. While it isn't unusual for guardsmen to use magic, they are normally trained in the arts of combat by Marshal Garion, and don't wander the place unarmed. He must be a magic user, is the most likely explanation. His armor would make hand-to-hand fighting impractical. Forgive me, I'm a bit... I sway slightly on my feet and yawn, watching the guardsman's face relax. I must have convinced him, and why not? It was convincing performance precisely because it was not a performance. I really am sleepy and tired. Just not that sleepy and tired. I wish the prince would stop sending me at these ungodly hours. So do I, Lady Rosicruce. It isn't easy for any of us in his retinue either. Come to think of it, whenever Prince Orleus wants something done urgently, he has his trusted Harris to carry out his wishes. For a meeting of considerable urgency in the middle of the night. No, it ought to have been Harris, not this nameless guardsman without so much as a sword buckled to his side. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, I don't know what YouTube is. Okay, it's possible this person okay, I didn't get this yet. It's possible this person is up to no good, and I should prepare to defend myself just in case. But with what? I mentally go through the list of items inside my study, but none of them seem particularly suitable for defense in this situation. But should I whatever. For a moment I consider refusing his request point blank. But that would raise his suspicions and provoke him to attack me here and now, which would be disastrous for him as much as me, because there are gallons of alchemical mixtures and compounds lying about the study, and many of them dangerously volatile to combat magic. It looks like I shall have to walk into an ambush. If this is to be one, with my eyes wide open, hope that I have enough wits or strength to survive it. I'm ready to go whenever you are. Good, please come with me. I keep getting warnings. Just a second, I'm sorry. Nope, don't know how to fix it. It's just gonna have to be... Sorry, YouTube. You're gonna have to keep warning me. I'll figure that out later. The guardsman leads me down the corridor from my room into the arching hallways beyond. The sounds of our steps are swallowed into a vast midnight silence. I shiver, not just from the cold. Who are the guards lining the corridors? I don't recognize even one of them. They're certainly not the men the Lord Regent assigned to me. They're not the men whom I had been given to understand will never be replaced in their duties without the Lord Regent personally informing me. So I was right after all. The guardsman who fetched me from my study and who was now keeping such a careful eye on me is an imposter. And the strange men flanking me on both sides can only be his accomplices. They, I notice, have swords, and look as if they know how to use them. The one advantage I have in my favor is that my opponents take me to be much more stupid than I am. They do not suspect yet that I have seen through their trap. This, as I see it, opens up 2 courses of action I can take. The first, to be aggressive and strike a forehand blow, attacking them immediately in the hope of catching them by surprise and throwing them off balance, sufficiently to make my escape. The second, to be clever and deal a backhand blow, following them repeatedly, biding my time until they make their move. Then retaliating in a surprise counterattack when they are expecting a whole unsuspecting prey. To you probably can't do it. Okay, you know what? That's fine. This stream is gonna be a little choppy, a little bit key, but that's fine. Let's attack them. Attack, so they say, is the best form of defense. Time to put this old adage to the test. I fall back, a step, and murmur a spell. A tickly sound fills the air as water vapors condense into my familiar saber of ice around my right hand. My escort, ever watching me carefully, snaps around quick as a blink. Combat success. Yes. Hey, what? Before he has the chance to finish the sentence, I run him through, burying my sword almost up to the hilt of his chest. He topples over, making wordless sounds with his mouth as his hands paw desperately at the wound in his chest. A wicked-looking pipe sings a cold song in the night air as it lances towards me. I deflect the pipe thrust with my saber, close in, and stab my attacker deep in the belly. He falls heavily as I spin around, fending off another sword swinging my way. Steel clashes into ice and both blades shatter at the impact, rendering useless his weapon and mine. I am an alchemist, not a swordsmaster. I may have taken more than a few lessons with Garion, and perhaps learn something from them too. But taking a gang of professionally trained, well-equipped assassins still far exceeds my skills. Attack may be the best form of defense, but discretion is also the better part of valor, right? I hold out my hands, close my eyes, and whisper a spell of illumination. Radiant light scorches the hallway, and I hear exclamations of surprise and pain as the unexpected brightness blinds my attackers. Quickly, before the spell wears off, I turn, tailing around. I run too. Before long, the loud clumps of armor boots on the stone floor echo down the hallway behind me. My spell afforded me by a few precious seconds of a head start. The assassins are following hot on my heels, and by the sound of it, slowly gaining. My legs are starting to ache and my lungs are burning. I am at my limit of my endurance and cannot last much longer in this chase. I draw a ragged breath, lift my head, and my heart freezes. From the opposite end of the corridor, another group of guardsmen are descending upon me. At their head is the unarmed imposter guard, his chest a living nightmare of writhing tissue and streaming blood. To Didn't I just run him through? How can he still be on his feet? How can he still be alive? His eyes light up in pure fury when he sees me, his mouth forming into a ferocious snarl. There she is. Get her. Get her. I'm trapped, surrounded by enemies front and back. This is the end, surely here and now. There is no way out. Is there? A cool breeze wafts into the hallway from the window beside me. Not giving myself the chance to think, I heave myself up onto the ledge, close my eyes, and jump. Guards, guards! My shouts shatter the silence of the palace garden and dissipate into the night. No friendly voice responds to my call. I hear only the rasp of steel cutting air and the low, bestial growls of assassins, drawing ever nearer. I had hoped that an open space like the garden would afford me more room of maneuver away from the assassins. But inch by inch, the ring of my pursuers is tightening around me, cutting off my avenues of escape one after another. I find myself gradually shivvied on all sides until at last I'm standing with my back against the pavilion at the garden center, surrounded on every side of the menacing circle of the sharpened steel. The menacing circle that at any moment will turn into a lethal one, unless someone comes to my rescue soon. Success. A burst of wind smites down from the skies, knocking me onto the ground and scattering assassins in all directions. Having a bit of tiff here, are we? A blase voice calls from top of the pavilion. A gawk? Gawk. About my insusally? Sorry, I can't read it. Grinning Xavier, relief warring with a exasperation in my chest when I see who it is. Exasperation wins. Your Highness, you are not allowed to be outside the palace after midnight. My word, I do believe you are right. Can't imagine how that slipped by my mind. Terribly sorry, my dear. But what are you doing here? Rescuing you, naturally, my dear Lily. From these rotten scoundrels. Where did they come from, by the way? Don't change the topic. You're supposed to be in your room, in bed. Why, no one else is here? I hate to interrupt, but are you quite sure now is the best time to interrogate my nocturnal wanderings? Princess Zero is right, of course. The situation remains critical. And we have no time to waste. Around us, the assassins lying on the ground are starting back into consciousness, slowly struggling to their feet. Oh, bitches. We must break out of this encirclement before they come from the surprise attack. I sprint towards the direction of the barracks, pulling a somewhat reluctant Bazaar after me. I don't think I've done this before. I mean this part, so this is new to me. We must find Garion and tell him what has happened here. That old pedant, once he gets wind of this, he and those dolphin bugs of his, they're called the Palace Guards, are going to take all the fun out of our little escapade. I say, can't we two deal with these cats on our own? I'm afraid there are a dozen or so too numerous for us to handle, Your Highness. Dignity, Killjoy. Princess Ear pouts, then brightens up again. Even so, this is still a lot more fun than sneaking to the White Hart, even if tonight is their annual drinking contest. That's what you had been about to do. Sneak into town for a drinking contest. And I would have won it. Whoosh. Before I can retort, something flies past me and buries itself quivering into the tree on my left. It is a spear. Whoosh. 2 spears. Blimey, that was awfully close. I risk a glance behind my shoulder and feel my heart sink. The shadowy figures are hurling after us across the garden, moving far quicker than men in armor have any right to. They're gaining on us. How rude of them. The lower classes these days simply have no manners at all. Nazir abruptly stops and spins around, spreading both hands. Fire success, yes. Fire erupts out of the meadow, a meter behind us, with licking tongues of flames reaching up almost to my shoulders. The assassins draw up close, up short before their firing area, and mill about in a confused huddle. But ought to hold them. Yeah, you're burning the whole place down, Nazir. Grinning in satisfaction at his handiwork, his face a trifle paler from the exertion. Prince Nazir shakes his fist at the assassins. Safe behind the barrier of magical fire he constructed. They'll teach you to mess with royalty villains, he roars, clearly enjoying every minute of this horrifying ambush. Your Highness, please, we have to go. Why? We were just starting to have fun. You can't keep this fire burning forever, Your Highness, nor does it extend the entire length of the garden. We need to get away from them before they find a way to get through, one way or another. Even as we speak, the height of the fire is dwindling. The assassins are moving again, not through the barrier, but rather sideways, trying to circumvent its length. Oh, very well, I suppose you're right. He takes a couple of steps back, turns around, and breaks into a run, in a direction that is almost perpendicular to the barracks. Your Highness, the barracks are that way, through the oak gate over there, if I recall correctly. Then where are we going? The barracks, naturally. To find Gary and enlist his help in dealing with those bounders, as you suggested a minute ago. This is the way to... It is a, shall we say, rather more roundabout route to the barracks. It nevertheless does get us to the barracks all the time, and not too many people know about its existence. He pauses in front of a small wooden door and nudges it gently. He swings it open without a sound. How did you learn about this entrance? I thought that was obvious. It's right beside the palace kitchens. I slip into the passageway behind Nazir, slowing the door carefully after me. That's not answering my question. Isn't it? To be clear, I can never stand Garion's barking voice and those awful drills he likes to force my brothers and I to do. On the other hand, the kitchens are a wonderful place for me, filled as it is with delicious pastries and even more delicious maids. I frequently found it necessary to have an inconspicuous method of getting from the one to the other. This is the second time your penchant for Chauncey has saved our lives. Your life, maybe. You saved mine 1,000 times already. Thank goodness there are no signs of assassins around the vicinity of the comforting iron and stone citadel? That is the palace barracks. I dash up to the door and start hammering it furiously. Within a minute it swings open and Garion, fully clad in flat armor, is glaring down at me. You better have a good reason to wake me up at this hour, Rosencruz. Garen, I say, do you really sleep in full battle, Regalia? Your Highness, if this is about another one of your nightly escapades. Oh, it is, old man, and you will ever be. You will be ever so grateful that it is. I'm still trying to figure things out. Okay, there we go. While I was climbing over the wall on my way to the White Heart, remind me to have a word about this with the innkeeper when I next drop by there. What do I see but our brave Royal Tutor fighting off wave after wave of dastardly assassins. Gary takes a closer look at the pair of us, and I can see fear and worry clouding over his brows. Lord Marshal, at this very instant, assassins are roaming through the palace, and we have barely managed to evade their clutches. If what you are saying is true, I must dispatch the guardsmen I have to protect the princes and the Lord of Ghent immediately. We cannot spare the men you have, Lord Marshal. We need them to catch at least one assassin alive. We, Rosencruz, I am the commander of the palace, not you. My word, not yours. Rules to the guards in the place. Not for tonight, I'm afraid. Tonight you're taking orders from Lily here. Your Highness, your brothers, can fend for themselves. So can my dear uncle, the worthy Lord Regent, who's much more of a fighting man than he cares to let on. Which you know, of course. It is true the Lord Regent is more than a match for any assassin in a fair fight, but nevertheless. Garion, Nizir says, his tone certainly sharper than I have ever heard before. Garion pauses to look at the prince, then at me and sighs. Very well, Your Highness. Garion doesn't look pleased to be overrun by Nizir, but at least he is now willing to give my plan a fair hearing. My plan is this. I speak quickly, painfully conscious of how little time I have before the assassins pick up my trail once more and track me down to the palace. Try to move quickly. I shall craft a parry laser to disable one of the assassins. For a few minutes, he will be utterly incapable of using magic. That gives us the time we need to knock him out and restrain him from committing self-injury. No simple feat. There are many ways for a man determined to kill himself to do so. Like handcuffs, manacles, ropes, a gag to stop him from biting off his tongue. Quite so, you have all these things in barracks? We have everything except a gag, but a cloth rag should be more than adequate substitute. Do you have any particular assassin in mind as your target? Yes, the guard sent to apprehend me was, unlike his fellows, unarmed. I have reason to believe he is a magic user and probably the officer leading this attack. The others are likely merely brainwashed mercenaries among all the assassins. I believe he is the one most capable of divulging useful information about the mastermind. My guards and I shall endeavor to take the magic user alive, but I suspect the rest of the assassins may try to kill him once they realize we are attempting to take him prisoner. Then we must kill the mercenaries before capturing the magician. An audacious plan, but a sound one. Go prepare your paralyzer while I rouse my guards. We have not a moment to lose. At once, Lord Marshal. Gary opens the door wider and I head into the barracks. Tonight is the last time the assassins are taking me by surprise. From now on, surprise shall be on my side. Are you ready, Lazy and Rosencrantz? Pushing my sweat-drenched hair away from my eyes, I look up from the forge in the barracks armory, a newly crafted paralyzer in my head. Is that a cat? Oh, that's just my wallpaper. But that was part of the picture. I am and your guards. They're eager and raring to go, but where? Since they are not taking the fight to us, we shall take the fight for them. Fight to them. We have to find them first. Right, got it. Be back in a jiff. Nazir trips out of the armory and away from the barracks, whistling nonchalantly. Your Highness, where are we going? I'm off to take a look at our friends, see what they're up to. Your Highness, this is much too dangerous. Oh, do give me some credit, old man. If you and those hand-picked palace guards are yours, never catch me sneaking off. What makes you think those lumbering cutthroats can fare any better? I must object. Gary shouted to thin air. Prince Nazir has already disappeared. Gary sighs, rubbing his mouth. His mouth creased forehead. Of all the princes, why Nazir? You underestimate him, Lord Marshal. The prince is keen and stealthy, and knows the way about the palace far better than anyone else. The problem is not my underestimating him, Lady Rosencrantz, but his underestimating himself. Do you understand that he volunteered for this mission because he considers himself the most expendable person in this room? Surely not. The good shades protect him. Now we must be patient and wait. We do not have to wait long. Soon Nazir is back, a trifle out of breath, but otherwise unharmed, and with madcap excitement and glitter in his eyes. They're on their way to the barracks through the West Hall. You seen them? Oh, rather nearly tripped over one. I'll tell you all about it next time. But we must hurry. I know the best place to ambush them, and it's a little far from here. Prince Nazir leads us to our positions, and before long we are entrenched and waiting the arrival of our adversary. Well, everyone except me, obviously. Why am I the bait? Because you're simply irresistible, my dear. Haven't I said so before? Hush, the assassins there draw near. Sure enough, we soon hear the clanking of mailed boots on stone floor, growing louder with each passing second. There, the Rosencrantz. I turn their guard, shouting at the top of my lungs. Good music. Stop, leave me alone. What do you want? Not burning ring play the assassin's ball toward me, the spellcaster driving them from the air. Get her, or the master will have all our heights. Master. Before I can ponder this any further, a lion like war shatters the silence of the night. Guards at them. Have a dozen crossbow bolts whistle from the hallway perpendicular to me. A couple of assassins on the right flank Charlie and tumble to the ground. An ambush. Rally to me, that men, before they can recover. However, Nazir and Gary are hurtling towards them, charging at the head of phalanx of guards. The ball of fire strikes one of the assassins, igniting like a flame torch. Screaming in pain, he starts running around in circles, forcing his comrades to dodge and shrink away from him, greatly disrupting their formation. Tally ho! With that, the prince and his guards plunge into a thick battle. It proves to be a very one-sided affair, as assassins, tired and flanked, waver and blink in the face of a sudden onslaught. Soon they are throwing down their weapons and fleeing in all directions, abandoning their dead. The unarmed spellcaster is the first friend, but unfortunately I paid special attention to him and have already marked him out. I've already paralyzed our hands and brace myself. This one we absolutely have to take alive. I squeeze the trigger, watching an arc of pale blue electricity shoot from the crossbow, striking the spellcaster between his shoulder blades. Inside a coil of electricity, his body shudders and paralyzer electrocutes him, frying his nerve ending and rendering his muscles into jelly. Is it too loud? Hopefully not. The electricity diminishes, fades. The assassin flops limply down for a precious minute or so, completely unable to move even a fingertip. Sees him. Gary and two guardsmen pin the prone assassin onto the floor, binding his hands and feet with manacles. I hurry over, the cloth gag in my hand. Quick, gag him before he bites off his tongue. Garen takes the gag from me and forces the spellcaster's mouth open. As he does so, a glimmer of intelligence glints in the assassin's eyes, and he makes a croaking sound that might be a laugh. Funny, a Rosencruz. I put a hand on Garen's shoulder and straighten him, starting not allowed to die. The spellcaster gives no sign of having heard me, instead he makes the croaking sound again. Oh, my face is in the way. I want to put it. This is okay. I have never thought of Rosencruz putting magic chains on someone else. My heart freezes. Does he know about it? The puddle markings on my neck, which have been hurting me the entire night, are now exquisitely painful. So burningly agonizing, I find it hard to breathe, let alone think. He sticks out his tongue, teeth shining white. Quick. Garen stuffs the gag, and just in time, the spellcaster throws as wildly as he fights to spit the cloth out. Garion further whiz another cloth band around the spellcaster's mouth, securing the gag inside fully. He grunts and looks over his handiwork with the knowing eye of a master craftsman. I bought my drink over. I was gonna do coffee, but I'm like, water might be better for my throat. Not bad. That should stop him from getting up to mischief. He nods at the guard standing behind the assassin, who steps up and smashes his palm hard into the spellcaster's head. The spellcaster ceases struggling, grows limp, swooning into a dead faint. Gary looks over his shoulder and frowns at me. What did he mean, a Rosencruz, putting magic chains on someone else? Nothing, I don't know. I found my breathing growing shallower and shallower. My head is spinning, or the world is spinning. I cannot concentrate, cannot focus. The markings, like 1,000 red-hot daggers, piercing my neck, sinking into my vulnerable flesh. I swallow thick saliva that is suddenly filling my mouth. I'm afraid I'm not feeling. Lady Rosencruz. Oh, Lady Rosencruz. Oi. So well. Feel my legs buckle under me. The world turns dark. Once upon a time, when the powers of magic had yet to be explored, and the usage of alchemy had all but foreign, was all but foreign. Legend claims that the world had been ruled by demons, grotesque monsters that breathed fire across wooden landscapes, winged creatures that called upon storms in a heartbeat. These beasts terrorized the lands, devouring its people and destroying everything in their wake. No matter what warriors humanity sent forth, the demons could not be defeated, for no weapon could penetrate their skins, and no armor could resist their claws. Even the magicians, mankind's strongest hope, stood no chance, for their magic were a fraction of the demon's might. Amidst the suffering rose a group of individuals, thereafter acknowledged as the world's first alchemists, for they created the homunculus. Homunculi were magical beings shaped from earth and water, raised with powers equal to that of the demons, yet donning the appearance of man. The temperament of as serene as their beautiful silver hair, magic as undeniably elegant as it was deadly. The homunculi defeated the demons and freed humanity from their reign of terror. But before the humans could rejoice, the homunculi turned their might against them. The weak fear the strong harbor greed. The homunculi saw no opponents to their strength and began to conquer human armies and rule over the people. While the homunculi captivated the eyes with their immortal beauty, the pride would end up shutting many forever, as the methods they employed to torture the ones who slighted them were cruel and often resulted in death. For even at the smallest offense, they bound their victims on the cross, killing them, staining the wood with dark blood. Humanity would come to give those homunculi the name of Rosicrucians. Still, there existed hope. In a world where everything is neither black nor white, just as there is no purely good or evil, there were some Rosicrucians tired of the endless wars and innocent fighting. These Rosicrucians took pity on the humans and made a deal with the world's first alchemist. They shall defeat the homunculi's tyrannical rampage and place a magic strain on each of them, so there will never come a time where Rosicrucians will abuse their magical capabilities again. But in exchange for this, the alchemists have to vow to protect each and every Rosicrucian from the vengeance demanded by humanity for all of time. The oath was spoken, the magic was cast, placing magic petals on each of their necks, destined to flare and burn away their life force each time a Rosicrucian uses their powers. Which is me. The homunculi's natural connection to the magic stream was severed. The Rosicrucians, now aged and past, like the rest of mankind, overthrown from their mortal rule. True to their word, the alchemists and many magicians united to protect the Rosicrucians from public vengeance. The magic curse around their necks kept a secret ever since. The area of peace finally came. Yay, peace! Father dabbed the handkerchief into warm water before wiping away the sweat on my forehead as he finished telling the last of his story. The candlelight flickered nervously in the dark room, almost to the rhythm of the wind outside the windows. "What kind of spell did you cast today?" he asked in a low, somber voice. "A levitation spell," I replied. "Oh, what did you try to levitate?" I gave a low mumble, retreating under my warm blanket while staring at him with big eyes, in fear that he might scold me. I'm just gonna take a second. So good, so good. Okay. He was always lenient towards Antonia and the others, but often scolded me for being a mischievous kid. For a long time he said nothing, and I eventually gave in. "Tumblety, the naughty cat, stole my and Antonia's dessert," I complained in a high voice. We chased him into the garden, but he climbed up a big tree, so we did too, but the branch broke. Antonia was terrified, so I cast the spell in panic. I expected Father to be angry, but he only chuckled. The corner of his mouth lifted as his eyes turned into crescent shapes. He had a warm disposition, but due to Father's natural thick eyebrows and usual stern look, I knew most children found him scary. "Casting a levitation spell even though you're only 5 years old," Father explained with pride, "is expected of my child. You are not angry?" This was Tobermory's fault. Father shook his head, but Lily... He smiled as he sat down on the bed, gently wrapping his fingers around my hand. "Levitating yourself and others is too great a burden. At most, your magic can only carry your own weight. It is because of that oath. It's because of the oath." I pursed my lips into a big pout. "Or is it because of the oath?" "That's right, you fainted because you overdid it, Lily. If you overuse your magic, the petal markings will choke you to death." With my brows furrowed, I closed my eyes, filled with stubbornness. That vow was no different from a curse. Couldn't they have done something aside from placing collar onto themselves? I called it a collar, but it began to feel more like a noose. Oh, what should they have done? Father's voice was full of curiosity and amusement. I don't know, but they could have promised to never do anything bad again. Father laughed loudly while lifting his head, smoothing out the crease between my brows. Lily, good and evil is nothing but a perspective. Such an oath is full of loopholes and would never work. But Father, even though we can use all 6 branches of magic, our own capacities are so much lower than that of the average person. Every magician at your workplace can call upon titles of storms. We can't. Plus, we have to hide the meaning of the petal markings from outsiders, or it might bring destruction upon our clan. It's so unfair. Perhaps, he nodded. Then again, an oath is nothing more than a magic spell cast by a mage. There's no guarantee that it cannot be broken. However, Lily, if a day ever comes when you find a way to break the spell, I hope you can remember why our ancestors made that promise in the first place. They exchanged their unlimited source of power for peace. Even if there may be many occasions where you'll find the restrictions around your neck to be a bother. The fact that it's the price we gave in order to spend these resentful days chasing cats and falling out of trees is something you can be proud of as a cruising cruise. Lady Raisin-Cruz. I awake with a gasp. I am lying on the bed in my room, judging by the bright sunshine streaming in from the window. Should be about midday. That means I had slept the morning away. Unconsciously, my hand moves to brush the petal markings on my neck. The skin is sensitive to the touch, but they no longer burn with that searing agony as that had overcome me after last night's battle with the assassins. I let my head fall into my palms. A dull ache throbs between my temples, which feel hot to the touch. A fever now would be fiendishly inconvenient. Lady Raisin-Cruz? Sala. Her small form slips forward to stand in front of me. I gaze at the homunculus in a mixture of surprise and relief. I didn't notice you here. I've been guarding you all the time while you slept, Lady Raisin-Cruz. Their Highness were not most concerned about your safety in these uncertain times. The princess, how are they, Sala? She breaks into one of her rare smiles. They are all well, as are Garion and his men. The malefactors inflicted next to no casualties on us last night, thanks to you. My apologies, Lady Raisin-Cruz. I and Raphael were both planned to be absent from the castle last night and couldn't aid you in your times of need. Is this a mere coincidence? No matter, Sala. Where are the princes now? They're in the dungeon. The dungeon? What on earth are they doing there? You should be resting, Lady Raisin-Cruz. Please do not exert yourself. It's that assassin, isn't it? The one we captured. They're interrogating him. You mustn't stress or worry. They started without me? Sala sighs. Would it do any good, Lady Raisin-Cruz, for me to tell you that you ought to lie back down on the bed? Clear your mind of stressful thoughts and adhere to a strict regimen of recuperation for the rest of today. I had managed to put on most of my court attire by the time Sala finished making her speech. I can never get this knot to go through properly. Help me with it, won't you, Sala? There. How far have they gotten? Do you know? But I suppose if you've been here all the while. The interrogation hasn't begun yet. But I thought you said. I merely advised you where the princes are. Now her smile has just the faintest trace of impishness in it. For the sake of your peace of mind, Her Highness, and Garion agreed not to initiate the process of interrogating the prisoner without you. However, they do not wish to keep a close eye on him. Oh, they do wish to keep a close eye on him, to make sure nothing untoward happens to him in captivity. Very sensible. I do not suppose there is anything I can say to convince you to return to bed. I shake my head, returning her smile. In that case, please allow me to escort you to the dungeon, Lady Rosicruz. Thank you kindly, Sala. In a much happier state of mind, I follow Sala out of the room and down the staircase in the direction of the palace dungeon. Clapped him in irons. It's good that he can't bite off his own tongue. On the other hand, I do say, Aurelius, don't give him ideas. I can hear the sound of princes arguing even before I step into the dungeon. By the time I have made my way down to the last flight of stairs, I can distinguish the words being spoken. Enough. Or shouted. It's rare to hear Saren raise his voice, although it's certainly not the first time I counted his firm attitude. No, I haven't seen Soren yet. First time Soren encounter. For right now. I mean, in the video. Aurelius makes an excellent point. As we waste time, the assassin may come up with more tricks. I don't mean to be anxious, but we should check on dear Lily. Better than regretting it later. I'll send over one of my men at once. No need. No need. Maybe I should make tea instead. I'll think about that. Tea for tomorrow instead of water. Probably relaxes my vocal cords. The prison is silent for the moment I speak up. I nod at the pair of saluting guards as I stroll into the main cell of the dungeon, where, according to Sala, the captured assassin is held. Manacles on wrists and ankles. Good. Haggard and dazed, that means the paralyzer has not yet entirely worn off. Better, even better. Mouth, however, not gagged. Hardly ideal, requires immediate ratification. I hold up the strip of cloth I had requisitioned from a linen laden maid from Palace Housekeeping. I've been devoting a considerable amount of time the past few weeks planning what to do with an assassin if I were to capture one. Lady Rosencreutz, you're quite well, thanks. And how are you? Trying hard to not smirk in the stunned silence, I walk over to the prisoner, force open his mouth, and shove the makeshift gag in it. Then I tie another length of cloth around his mouth, binding the gag firmly in. A temporary solution. We'll have to watch he doesn't try to suffocate himself by swallowing the gag. Up and about already, are we? Thews that lie encumber Sunlight Palace number 3, Your Highness. Charisma bless you. Right. Are you sure you're not just too eager to pull every information possible out of your captee? Nazir says with a roguish, I think it's just roguish wink. As usual, I cannot help but respond, feeling a grim freak over my face. Oh. I guess I could just do this. No, because then you can't see the words. I'll have to be fine. Orley strokes his head at the shackled assassin spellcaster. Well, hopefully Saren doesn't come in, then I'll have to move. How did he and his cutthroats infiltrate the palace undetected, Garion? I thought our security is tighter than this. As did I, Your Highness. I can only apologize. You could do a bit more than that, I should think. Nazir throws an arm around my shoulder and hugs me close. Closer, I think, than a simple gesture of friendship. I'm sorry, Nazir. We're just friends. Just friends. We're going after Sarween whenever, comes back. If not for the courage and resourcefulness our dearly beloved royal tutor here. His hand squeezes my arm, wholly half playfully, and a breath catches in my throat. The incident last night would have been an utter debacle. His Highness is right, Lady Rosicruz. We owe you a great debt last night. Truly. Oh. Cannot cover Srin? Indeed. Even Arlia says so. That means you're officially one of us now, my dear Lily. Your delight overwhelms me, Your Highness. Monsieur lets go of me at last. As he does, he leans in quickly to say, too much soft for the others to hear. Take care of yourself, you hear? Then he tilts his head and considers the bowing figure thoughtfully. Now then, my dear Lily, what do you propose we do with him? He pauses, a hard gleam in his eye. I have never seen it before, as if truly angered. Or to him. At that moment, the half-comatose assassin groans audibly. He slides his back up the wall, his head swerving left and right, almost as though he is trying to refuse something or someone. Oh, not again. What's happening? We don't know. It seems that once or twice every hour he would be seized by a fit of agitation, which possesses as quickly as it comes. Maybe watching him move the gag, perhaps he's trying to tell us something? I won't advise it. Nothing worth hearing. The princes are right. During these fits, the prisoner talks pure gibberish. At considerable volume and length, our attempts to interrogate him have been uniformly fruitless. They only seem to aggravate the severity of these attacks, which are getting more severe in any case. At this rate, I doubt the prisoner has long before he ruptures a blood vessel in his head. Have you tried questioning him between these seizures? We did, but he never made any reply. Is that the after effect of the paralyzer? No, he understands the question we put to him. You can tell from his eyes, but he refuses to cooperate. I was advocating the use of more enhanced interrogation techniques, but the princes. Garion, we need to keep him alive at almost any cost. That means no sharp or potentially lethal instruments in his proximity, which way she could commit suicide, or be forced into committing suicide. I still say we rough him up a little. We can't afford to take the risk. Nominating a little? No. Have it your way. If I may get a word in, the bickering, to my surprise, stopped immediately. Everyone turns to look at me. The usual remedy to disobedient prisoners, I believe, the truth serum. Will it work? We have considered the truth serum, but we thought the mastermind's domination of the prisoner will block the effect of the serum. You're right, the standard truth serum does no good in my control case. But there is a special variant of the serum, tailored to override the effects of mental domination of the subject. Wonderfully convenient, be a dear and make one at once. I'd like to, unfortunately, process as manufacturer is somewhat involved. First, I must learn as much as possible about the mind-controlling spell. Only then will I be able to come up with an appropriate formula to encounter it. Yeah. How long will it take? 2 weeks, minimum. We stare at the prisoner. His fit had passed while you were talking, and he's panting heavily. Bez's sweet mingled blood rolled from his temples down to his chin. His face is bloated and very red. I had no idea it could be so difficult to stop a man from ending his own life, if he is so determined. Even if we somehow manage to keep an eye on him at every single instant, we'll have to force feed him to stop him from starving. He won't last 2 weeks anyway. It doesn't look like he'll last 2 hours. There's a way to secure his physical cooperation. I briefly hesitate, wondering how to make the point without stirring any suspicion about the Rosencreutz's widely known, but little understood gift. Are you perhaps referring to the judgment ring? You've heard of it? I have read of its use in some historical works, but but I had the impression of judgment ring is enormously difficult to create, and the recipe a closely guarded council secret. That's right. The judgment ring is an artifact that requires not only a sophisticated mastery of alchemy, but also a great deal of primal magic to craft. The difficulty and expense associated with making it ensures its extreme rarity. The judgment ring is also used exclusively by elite members of the council's garrison to apprehend the most notorious and dangerous criminals of the continent. The amount of magic needed to craft the ring exceeded by far the limit that I or any member of the Rosicrucian clan can safely use. Indeed, it exceeds the magical capabilities of most mages in Eskia. Thankfully, 3 of the most talented Eskian mages are here in the dungeon with me. So it is, but I am an alchemist of the High Council, and I know how it is made. So can you make it? Well, I need to get the princess to make the judgment ring for me. But how can I do so without arousing their suspicion about the secret Achilles heel of the Rosicrucians? Pretend to be still exhausted. I'm not gonna believe that, probably. Tell the princess this is an opportunity to learn. Well, you are their tutor. Yeah. The school mastery side of me takes over, and I assume the pedagogic aspect. Pray tell, have the months of my oral tutoring have any effect on the 3 of you? You're assuming I listen to you in class, rather a generous exception, I fancy. I've been wondering if I ought to set you 3 in an examination. Well, consider it this. You mean you want us to make the judgment ring? It will be challenging, to be sure, but it should be beyond your abilities to be, or your knowledge. It's an opportunity to learn, and hard to come by. Is that so? Orlius doesn't sound like he believes my reasoning. Admittedly, this isn't the best time to be worrying about something like studies. We do not know what exactly is involved in making the ring, but I do. The judgment ring requires fire and water to create it, wood and light to bind it to the mind of the caster, wind to restrain the movement of the person it is used on, and darkness to hide that person's physical and magical sight. Between the 3 of you, you have all the 6 branches of magic needed to craft, bind, and inflict the ring on our friend here. As to the precise steps of this process, not to worry, they're all in here. I tap my temple. You have, let's see, the entire evening to revise your magical studies. Tomorrow I shall examine you on whether you have been applying yourself the past few months. If we do not have a judgment ring ready to be used by the end of the next day, all of you get a failing grade. That sounds fair. I suppose I shall look forward to the test. At least, it's good to know what we've been learning is going to be useful. I accept. So Aurelius still doesn't believe my reasoning. At least he agrees. Well then, I clap my hands together. Study hard and rest well tonight, children. You have a long day ahead of tomorrow. In the meantime, I assume we also mustn't neglect assembling the ingredients needed for making that special truth serum. Right, the potency of the judgment ring degrades over time, and faster the stronger the target is used on. For this assassin, reinforced as he is by a mysterious mind-controlling mastermind, I reckon. 2 weeks and no more at the maximum. That means we'll have to press on at full speed with the truth serum and have it at hand within a fortnight. I love fortnight. I need to cram the books as much as possible to ensure I make it in time. Give me the ingredient list and I'll have my quartermasters scour their stores at once. Much obliged, my Lord Marshal. Now that we all know what we need to do, let's get on with doing them, shall we? Oh my god. Okay, we're gonna save. And that's good. Thank you for watching. YouTube. Don't forget to like and subscribe. On Twitch. Please follow, I think that it's called. And